So Domoticz will trigger events in a number of ways, and you can build them in 4 different languages. We have Blockly, LUA, DZVents, which is an LUA derivative with an improved object model, and Python. So looking at these one by one, an example of Blockly would be turning the lights on. It's fairly straightforward. You drag control items, logic items, devices over into here and make up the blocks. One gremlin with Domoticz is Blockly. I haven't got any because it doesn't work. There is an else if control block, this thing. Drop this in and you can create an else if under your if I could remember how. There we go. The problem with else if in Domoticz is it isn't else if. It's when you've finished the first if, now have a look at the second one. So both your if clauses can end up running, which is not entirely helpful. In fact, it's not much use at all. That is a good reason to stay away from Blockly, quite honestly, unless you're doing really simple stuff. It can access most of the devices. I don't think it's able to see quite every value of every device in the same way that the LUA or the Python code can. So that's Blockly. When you're running a Blockly or an LUA event, you need to tell Domoticz what the trigger type is. So in order not to have to run every piece of event code every time anything changes and every minute on the timer, Domoticz likes to know what triggers this event. So you can say it's triggered by a device, and Domoticz will test the event every time a device reports a change. Security, that's if you're arming or disarming the control panel. Time, that'll get run every minute or tested every minute. And user variable, not quite sure how that one plays, I haven't used it. If we look at some more interesting events, so this is stuff written in LUA and DZVents. DZVents is LUA, but it's LUA with a good object model. The basic Domoticz LUA object model is a whole set of rather strangely named arrays, which may or may not contain quite everything you want to play with. DZVents was created by a smart bloke who got tired of that and created a proper object model, which is nice and logical. You can see down here, for example, Domoticz.devices.battery level would be the battery level of that device. Great. Domoticz.notify. It's a nice simple object model. It works really well. The code is still LUA, which is handy if you're converting across. I wrote most of mine initially in LUA and then started to find it pretty tedious accessing the parameters of the devices and switched them over to DZVents one weekend. So basic structure of a DZVents event, you've got an on clause here. DZVents doesn't seem too concerned about this, although I do try to set it correctly. I think it's gone back to device. I had that set to timer earlier. This one runs on a timer every 4 hours, and it does run in spite of what that says over there. We log to say we're running the battery level check. I've got an array here in LUA that says I want the lounge rear door to be at least 10%. Below that we alert, etc., etc. Iterate through the array, check the battery level of the device against the specified level. If it's low, we log a message and email a notice. Nice and straightforward. Similar one there, checks for missing devices. There's a last update timestamp on devices, and we test for that being more than 12 hours old, and email a list of them. This one's a bit more fancy. This is my CCTV snapshotting event. So if one of the doors is opened, hopefully by us, but that's what it's there for, or the front doorbell is rung, then this thing gets fired. And what it does is send a notification, this time Google Cloud Messenger, which goes to the Domoticz app on my phone and runs a script. os.execute just runs a Linux script, and I've got a shell script that takes a snapshot from the relevant camera and emails it